Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Coding Segments. Today we're going to be going over arrays. Arrays is a simple thing that gets overly complicated real quick. It's not that bad, I promise. So let's just talk about it. So what is an array? An array is just a collection of the same data types put together. So it's similar to like an egg carton. So an egg carton has 12 spots where you can put in 12 eggs, right? Well, an array is like an egg carton that you can fit one item in each spot. But an array we can not stuck to just 12. We can make it 100 long, a million long, however much memory we have. But we can only fit one item in each spot. And when we create an item, when it's empty, it just fills in all the values for us. So numeric values defaults it to zeros and fills everything in for you. And if it's anything else but numeric values, it'll fill in null. Those are just default values, and that's always something key to keep a track of. Because how do I know if I've been there? Well, let's check if it's zero, or let's check if it's null. And that way we can write to it and use them. We can also store whatever values we want immediately or later. So we can give it values. So we can store, in this case, we're putting in integers and we're storing in these values. I didn't touch this spot or that spot, that's why they're still zero. But how do I know which spot is where and how to access it? How do I go from here and then skip one and there? Well, that's the nice part about arrays, is they're marked and labeled for us. Since there is 7 spots here, there's 7 indexes. And note, it starts at 0. That's a key thing. And notice that the last spot is the length, because we have 7 indexes, minus 1. So the last spot is always the length minus 1, and the first spot's always 0. And with all that known and said, what happens if I wanted to put one here? Well, you can't. The computer gets very angry, and you would have to make a whole new array with more spots in order to put it. And that's a lot of hassle and a lot of issues, because you can't just simply copy from one array to another without some other methods or functions doing so. So all you have is these 7 spots, 0 through 6, and that's all we can write. And let's play with one real quick. So we're going to create an array of strings. So in order to do that, we say the data type. In this case, we're doing strings. We want it to be an array. That's what those brackets are denoting. Saying we're going to be creating an array. Then we're going to say their names. We're going to give it the name names. And say new string and 5. So now I have an array of 5 empty spots that can hold strings. Now if I knew the names already, I could just create a string array, known names equals, and then we just say brackets, braces, 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 name. So since it's a string, we need our quotes. Joe, Josh, Josh, Jim. I keep forgetting the quotes. And Phil. Voila. Now we created an array of 4 elements because I put in 4 names, right? And they're already filled for us. How do we get these names? Well, we just go say the array we want to access, known names, and say we want the first item. Remember, we start counting where? 0. Known names, 0. That will access the first index. Now let's print out that value, that print line, and known names. Cool. And let's run that. We should return Joe because that's the first name, right? Joe. Sick. And let's say I want the last one. And we put in 4. Remember, it's not 4, right? Because we start at 0. The last index is where? 3. Last index is the length minus 1. That's why we got out of bounds exception, because we went 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's nothing here. So to get the last one, we say 3. And we get Phil. Or we can do a nice little thing. Nice thing about arrays they know how long they are, so we just say that dot length. Did I spell everything right? Oh, no names, dot length. And we play that, it will say fill again. No, it won't, because what's the length for? 4 we already established is out of bounds. -1. That's even what I put on the other screen. Last is the length -1. I didn't even listen to my own advice. There we go, we got fill. Okay, cool. So grabbing them is pretty simple. We just say where we want to put them, right? Oh. My bad. Where we want to put them. So how do we fill them? So remember, names is empty right now. So if we say system.out, let's see, what do I got pasted? Nothing. System.out.println, and we're going to say names at the first spot, which is 0. And let's see what it gives us. Null. It said null. Why is it null? Because we haven't put anything there. So remember, the default values for strings is null. Okay, let's put something in there. So let's create a scanner object real quick. Scanner, scan equals new scanner system.in. Okay. And that's not where a semicolon goes. It goes right here. Alrighty. System dot out dot println, yada yada, Control C, or let's just copy that for later. That way I don't have to keep typing this out. Okay, enter a name. And then we're going to say names at index 0 equals the next thing I type in. And then to make sure that it works, we're going to say, first name is, and then we're going to add it to the end, names 0. Perfect. Let's run this. Okay, so fill, currently it equals null. That's what this print statement is saying. Okay, so we need to enter a name, say Julie, and the first name is Julie. So I have successfully stored a name into our array, and then we just had to specify where it was. What if I want to fill the whole array? Do I need to just copy and paste this 5 times? No. It's super simple. So we will keep that, and we're just going to make a for loop. So for int I equals 0, I is less than the length of the array because we want to go through all of it, right? So how do we get the length? Well, we just say names.length, and voila, it automatically fills it for you. So if I change this to 12, nothing's going to break. If I change it to 1 million, nothing's going to break. But let's skip to 5 for now. And then we want to go through every index, so we're just going to do I++. So we're going to move 1 spot at a time. Instead of 0 here, so we're not putting it in the same spot every time, we're going to move it 1 by 1. Get these braces working right. Control A, Control I. So if you just saw that, I hit Control A to highlight everything, and Control I indents it for you, so everything looks nice and neat again. And since our counter is going to be incrementing 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, so forth, it'll go through the entire thing for us. So let's change this spot to I, and we'll just say the name entered is, or the name entered was, then that should do it. So that will go through the entire array and store it for us. Okay, so we're going to say James. The name entered was James. Cool. Phil. Yep. Larry. Tom. Pete. And we're done. Let's see, how many names did we enter? We entered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5 spaces. Our for loop worked. That's all it is to arrays. In order to access them, we just say the name, bracket, where we want to access. In order to fill them, we just say where we want to put it equals what value. And if we want to go through the whole array, it's always this for loop. It's always initialize counter at 0, counter is less than the length of the array, and count by 1. That's all it is for an array. Arrays are just fitting an item in each spot. And that concludes today's video.